Good morning, everyone. This is Florida Plant Mama coming to you from Zone 10A, Central Florida. Happy spring, everyone. It is spring. It is officially spring today. Well, not until 11:06 p.m., but as far as I'm concerned, it's spring today, okay? This is the vernal equinox. It is the time of year when there are equal portions of day and night for a 24-hour period when the sun is directly overhead at noon. The time of year when the flowers all wake up and burst with life and the garden is rejuvenated and it is beautiful and I am here for it. Finally, frosts are over. Well, they've been over. Our last frost date was February 3rd. Yes, February 3rd. So it's been over for a while. But you always worry about those late frosts or those fluke frosts. So I've taken down all of my frost structures. I have cleaned up a bit in the garden. And now I'm just waiting for the plants to come alive. Now, in Florida, where I live, spring lasts a total of maybe 2 weeks. It's a short season. We go from cool temperatures by our standards to hot in 30 seconds. Today, funny enough, it is actually a little cooler than it has been for the past couple of weeks. We're in the 50s right now. It's probably about 53 degrees and it's about 8:25 in the morning on March 19th. And we're typically a little warmer. So I've got my little jacket on right now and you know, it's spring, but it doesn't exactly feel like what I'm used to with spring, but that's okay. We're going to go up to the high of 69 today, which is also strange, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can because like I said, in 30 seconds, it's going to be 110 degrees out here. I thought, what better way to start off this spring season than with a garden tour? So you can see what the garden looks like now when it's just starting to come alive, and then what it looks like as time progresses. So come along with me. Watch the garden tour till the end, hopefully, and let me know what you think. Please comment. So this is part of the garden that you guys see probably most often. This is my relaxation / work area where I've got my little table set up where I do most of my uppotting and seed starting, and I've got my little fire pit / nursery going on. Back here is where I kind of keep the stuff that ends up feeling like clutter, but everyone needs a place to work, and this is out of the way, okay? So in this corner, as I turn around, I've got my sensitive fruiting trees. I put them here so that I'm able to move them very quickly during times of brutal weather here in Florida. These plants are my babies. I'll go through and tell you what I have here in just a sec. Now, I have changed things around a bit from what you may have seen in my previous videos. I have decided to clean this area up and make it a little less cluttered for my sanity's sake, type A personality and all. So what I did was I put the nursery here. There's actually a better location for it, right by my lovely sign. Anywho, so I've got my little seed starting trays here. They get a good amount of sun in the morning. Okay. My little succulent section. My seedlings, you're used to seeing these around the fire pit. And I'm not using the fire pit. This makes a perfect little nursery. I've got some additional non-cold sensitive fruiting bushes and trees here. My blueberries are flowering. And over here, I have decided to keep the peppers from last year as well as the volunteer tomatoes. Remember all those bags? And I said, I don't know what to do with them all. I want to keep them all, but I need to make place for the new stuff. Well, I couldn't get rid of them. So here they are. So this is the overview of the entrance to the garden. Let's move to this section here. and tell you what I got. Oh, I hope I'm not making this video too long. I hope you guys can bear with me. But I'm so excited to share with you these plants. And I want you to know what you can grow in Central Florida and grow successfully. So I will go through and tell you what I've got, the names and varieties. I'm also going to list the variety of fruit trees in the description box so that if you're interested, it's easier to figure out what I've planted. From this end and around, I've got a Carambola here. I've got a mango right here that's flowering. So many flowers. I don't know what kind of mango this is. It was gifted to me from a family member in Miami. Back here, I have the Lara Carambola. Here, I have a desert rose with a weed growing, but I like the weed. It's pretty, so I left it. I've got my new plants here, and 3. This is the Achacha. That's how it's spelled. I've got my Soursop tree, and I've got my Fingerling Banana. I have my Pimento. There's Allspice here. Okay. And here we have a, this is a lychee. What kind of lychee? A sweetheart lychee. Back here, also flowering just a bit, and is my Mango. Here is my bay rum tree. And then back here, there's another mango. That one is a West Indian mango, also flowering and also gifted to me. I don't know the variety. I just call it a West Indian mango. And here is my Wisteria that is just starting to wake up. It's in a pot as well because Wisteria can take over. If planted in ground, it will spread. So I've got it. Hopefully this season it will go over the doorway. Nice purple flowers over the doorway. Okay. As I move further, I have a dumpster dive pot with some nasturtium in it. These are buttercups. This is a Dombeya tree. I think I'm pronouncing that properly. It's not an edible, but it's a beautiful flowering shrub that makes really, really fragrant flowers. This is the Muntingia, or Jamaican strawberry tree. It doesn't like the cold at all. When it got down to temperatures in the low 40s, not even hitting freezing at all, I put this tree in the garage because even with temperatures in the 50s, this tree appears a bit stressed out. In the nursery area, I am trying to grow more flowers and herbs from seed this year. Too much money spent on potted flowers and the prices have gone up ridiculously. So I did put in the ground cucumella, holy basil. I've got some more Kary here, ground cherries. I put some in the ground already, Swiss chard, savory. Down in here, I've got lavender gomphrena, some dahlias. My snow and summer didn't come up very well. English daisies are coming up. Bachelor buttons are coming up. I got some more German chamomile there. I've got some lupine. Aubrietta didn't do such a good job. I've got dill in here. I've got some alyssum. Chervil, it just won't come up. I can't seem to grow the chervil. And I've got Shasta daisies, and I've got a seed mix and lilliput zinnias. And here I've got some cilantro and some onions that are very, very, very sparse. Look at that. Okay, down here I've got black cherry tomatoes. These are the echinacea, the scrawny echinacea that we planted together. Okay, I don't think they're gonna do much of anything. They haven't even started leafing out, and by now I would imagine that they would have. So these are the echinacea that we started together that I was concerned about, and I had a reason for that concern. But you know, sometimes you plant things and they grow, sometimes they do not. Over here, I've got some straw flower back. Well, the straw flower is not coming up very much, but there's some more flowers back here. Just an assortment of flowers that I potted, and I threw some seed down for. Some of them are coming up well here, as you can see, some are not. So this is the little nursery station. This is where I keep my snake plant because it is invasive, especially in Florida. Got some aloe. This aloe is this aloe's baby, and as you can see, there are several more babies that this aloe is making. So this pot will need to be revamped soon, but I just know if I start digging anything out of this thing here, it's gonna fall apart because this is a male carrying container that I just repurposed as a plant pot. In here, I've got last year's dahlias that stayed out all season. I don't know if they're gonna come back. The roots looked nice when I repotted them, but nothing's happening, and I do have some other dahlias that have begun to sprout, so I don't know. This is a volunteer Biden's Alba. I've got here my Dara Blueberry, another Dara Blueberry. This is my fruit punch blueberry, and I've got some regular blueberries that I took from the blueberry lane, basically with the in-ground blueberries, and I decided no more blueberries in the ground. I'm just gonna grow them in the pots because it's easier to manage their acidity that way. So blueberry, blueberry. We got another fig here. This one is a brown turkey fig. It has just begun to leaf out as well. And we've got a variegated pink lemon plant here that did begin to bud and flower. And what else? I believe that's it in here. And then, like I said, the wayward peppers, but we got a couple of other things in here. In here, I've got a lemon tree that I started from a cutting. And I have also got another one that I started from a cutting. And I've got this is a sugar apple tree that I started from. I mean, this thing was probably about 3 inches tall. It does have some brown leaves, but that's because it's coming through the winter. It should start greening up soon, and then the rest of the volunteers. Okay, let's get inside the garden. As we enter the garden, you can see that this place is jam-packed. Jam-packed with plants. Okay, the goal of this garden is to maximize on space and mimic what I see in Florida nature. Back behind my house where I'm pointing right now, that's a conservation area. And you can see how densely those trees are packed. And they're all reaching and they're all finding their sun. Well, I wanted to do the same with my garden. This is a backyard garden, so I don't need the space to drive the tractor between the trees and the space for people to come along, workers to harvest all the fruit. I just need enough trees to feed my family and friends, and at a height where I can pick them without special equipment. So what I've gotten here, I got an agave plant. I've got some balloon flower. Got some lilies in here. I've got a split philodendron in here, along with asparagus fern. Now you can see most of the stuff in here, well, a lot of the stuff in here is not all edible. I like the plants for aesthetics. I like the plant to attract pollinators, and I like the edibles. So I mix it all up. Here I've got my favorite. I love this smell, it's divine. This is called a sweet almond bush. I am actually trying to grow it as a tree. I've got to come through and get rid of the shoots that have grown from the bottom, but I did transform this into a tree with a single leader stem here. I just got to get rid of the excess. We've got elephant ear. This was an indoor plant that I decided to put outside, and it has thrived outside. We've got plumbago because I enjoy these flowers. We've got a hibiscus that needs to be trimmed down a bit. I want to keep those a little shorter. Let me see if I can find a flower. There's a peach hibiscus. Okay, way back there. Can you see it? All right, where I'm pointing. That's the peach flower right there. That one has to open up. Okay, down in here, I've got a carpet of oregano. This is an assortment of flowers, including calendula, and there will be more thumbelina zinnias in here. I put in a few bags. These bags are just to increase the space to grow some vegetables here. This is another sweet almond tree bush that's gotten quite tall. This one I left in bush form. Another split philodendron. And we go over to this section here, and we've got daffodils mixed with kohlrabi, mixed with, there's some alliums in here, mixed with Stokes aster, mixed with the Carolina jessamine that you guys saw me try to train to this trellis. And look at it already. I've got to come back and get these little vines under control again. But I'm happy because it means it's growing. I got some salvia, actually, that's self-seeded into this pot. Okay. I believe this is a broccoli. We got some coreopsis in here. What else? More broccoli. You can see I got to get that broccoli out of here. It's ready. Another broccoli, more kohlrabi. We got the butterfly, the milkweed, and more broccoli. This is my Roman chamomile. We've got a cabbage in here. We've got cranberry hibiscus, more kohlrabi, a red cabbage. So this is just its own little ecosystem, and I like it that way. Who says you can't grow daffodils in Florida, Zone 10? As I continue, we have our star. Look at her. Oh, this is a sky flower. Did I mention that already? We have our star behind the sky flower. Well, that is a Kari Mango tree that has many, many flower spikes on it. I don't know if any will set fruit, but I really do hope so. Let's a closer look at where it may be beginning to fruit. Down here, we have a weed. This weed drives me nuts. Pull it out all the time. But mixed in, I've got some blue-eyed grass. Blue-eyed grass over here. And we got some frog fruit as a ground cover mixed in with self-seeded milkweed for the butterflies. So I really, really do try as hard as I can to pick the pollinators and flowering trees, bushes that are native to Florida. I try as much as I can to avoid the invasives. There may still be a couple that are in here from when I first started this garden and didn't know any better, but now that I do, it's important for me to stick to non-invasive native plants to help our environment, to serve as an ecosystem for our nature, our animals. We've got rosemary in this pot. along with a weed and one lone spinach survivor. We got a little bit of salvia down in here, and behind the pot, closer to the screen, we've got some more blue-eyed grass, and we've got some Swiss, oh, what's it called? Anyway, it's an indoor plant. Well, it was given to me by a friend and used as an indoor plant, and I decided to toss it in here. It actually may be trying to be invasive. I thought it would kind of suffer during the cold weather, but it is doing just fine. I went to the store the other day just to look around, and I couldn't believe the price of this plant. Can you see it? Yeah, they're selling this as an indoor plant for ridiculous amounts of money, and I just kind of tossed it in here, and it's growing. I just find that so amazing. We got some more cranberry hibiscus from last season. Didn't die off during the winter months. We've got my first aloe plant. This thing is now 4 years old. We'll continue going here. You can see this is the path that I'm taking. Go on this side. We've got a Longan behind this salvia, this purple salvia. The Longan is here. It hasn't begun to fruit or anything, but it is leafing out. Lots of leaf growth. Salvia here that I'm going to cut back. It's getting a little too tall. This is a baby of the other 4-year-old aloe plant that I have here. This is its baby. Of course, we've got to stick in some more coreopsis. And here we have the Surinam Cherry. I actually think I see a cherry ripening right up there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's in there. This tree, once it stops flowering, which you can see it's starting to flower right there, I'm gonna trim it back as well. Oh, we got some baby Surinams coming here too as well. They're green, but they turn red once they're ripe. They have a sweet tart flavor. Continuing, we have the Kumquat, which has some overripe fruit on it. Gotta pick those. I've got some bags here that I need to amend. Ooh, and look at, ooh, you make me mad. Look at them. Oh, I can always find at least one hanging around. Slugs. Anywho, these bags are waiting to be amended for my peppers, and they're gonna get rid of you. Some more balloon flower, another philodendron. This is a small ligustrum. I would love for this to grow into a little tree so I can make it into, I can kind of cut it into a little ornamental. I love the way they look when they're fashioned into a little decorative ornamental tree. Oh, I guess I'll go through this section as I come out of this one here. I continue on in here. We've got another hibiscus. We got a crepe myrtle, which shoots off beautiful auburn leaves. We've got some iris here, another agave. We've got a rose bush, which needs to be trimmed. We've got some pinwheel jasmine, which I have to keep in check because it likes to roam. And we've got another kind of, not exactly an agave plant. I forget the name of this one. This is a weed. It's a weed that I allowed to grow because it is a beautiful weed. Remember, a weed is only a plant that you did not grow. People think weeds are nuisances, and for the most part, if you don't want them there, then they are. But when they grow and they are beautiful, I leave them alone. Pollinators love them. And they're so pretty. Look at that. Love that. Okay, we continue. This is so we started on this side and now we're gonna go that side of to the left of the path as I come out here. Okay, you watched me plant the elephant garden. Elephant garlic, jeez. All right, so the elephant garden has come. I did it again. The elephant garlic has come up very nicely. And we've got some onion mixed in there. We've got calendula in there. We've got kohlrabi in here. And we've got nasturtium in here. Love it. A little bit of milkweed. Grapevine is starting to wake up. You saw me attempt to explain how I prune these things. I don't know if my explanation was very good or very helpful, but I hope it was. Let's continue around here. We have, a little red dianthus that I planted maybe 4 seasons ago. Okay. This is the German chamomile, and it is starting to bud. I already showed you this array of bagged plants and some in-ground plants. Let's come on out of this space. Okay, guess we'll go back to this table here since we're over in this section. This was my Christmas gift. This replaced the first potting space or the first planting space I ever had, which was the wooden table. And this has some herbs in it. This is my new and beautiful chenille plant that I've decided to hang in this space. A little pop of color amongst the calendula. More calendula. I've got a little bit of scallions in here. We're bunching onions. We've got some sage that I planted from seed. And we've got the thyme. This is the oldest thyme plant that I have. I started the garden with this. It is about 4 years old. And look at the corn. The corn is growing. I don't know if it'll be successful. I do plan on covering this corn as soon as it starts to produce the corn stalks to avoid the bugs infesting the tops. I got a kohlrabi here that I believe is time to harvest. I try and squeeze in little flowers, annual flowers, wherever I can. And these flowers are helpful against nematodes, and they're supposed to prevent pests. So we try and get these French marigolds in wherever we can. Okay, so we've got 2 beds here and 1 bed back there. Ooh, look, there's a strawberry ready. Anyway, squirrel. So these beds are surrounded by bags. These beds will house peppers, or they do house peppers now. I transplanted the peppers that I grew inside starting in November, but they still got kohlrabi in it. That looks like it's ready to harvest. It's so pretty. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. So I've got peppers in here. I've got some Merabi basil in here. It's a new one that I tried. I've got a little bit of Chinese broccoli, but this is primarily pepper bed with a little volunteer black-eyed Susan here. I don't mind. I've put in some carrots. I have put in some beets, which I never do very well with beets. As you can see, that row is pretty sparse. And we've got some arugula that has gone to flower that I will eventually pull out because I've got more peppers that need to go in this bed. So let's continue around here. Here we have an assortment of pear trees. You saw me paint these pear trees. So the Hosui pears, Asian pears, have not woken up yet. they're thinking about it. And then we've got Bartlett Pear and what other pear? There's a Bartlett and there is a, what is this is in here? Let's see. Yeah, Bartlett and we got, oh, that is the Bartlett. What's the other one then? See if I can find, here we go. Kieffer. Yeah, we got a Bartlett and a Kieffer Pear. These are still pretty young. They have not produced me any fruit as of yet. We've got a blanket here of oregano. I love to use oregano as ground cover. My new little owl that I got on sale at Home Depot. Thing was probably about $10. My bench is here. Now this, I'm gonna try something with this. Once I get it together, I'll show you exactly what I do, but I've got a project planned for that pot. More asparagus fern that is acting as its own little ground cover. This is probably about 2 plants which have gone crazy. All right, let us move to this section here where my strawberries are. We're not doing too badly here. We got also our Mexican torch vine mixed with our jasmine to go over this trellis that I actually managed to cut back, and it's already starting to grow in. I just got to keep it under control. That is the goal. But look at that strawberry. I got to get that before Bird gets it. So that's my strawberry area. I've got a little bit of, I believe this is Swiss chard, the red vein Swiss chard, but it could also be the red vein sorrel. Might be the red vein sorrel. That was a volunteer from where I had the sorrel planted at the end of this pepper bed. So this is also the pepper bed. We've got a bolted chijimasai. So we'll clean this bed out today and put in the peppers. Back behind my Barbados cherry tree, you can see where it is to the in relation to the entrance door. This was the first tree that I purchased, so it is now 4 years old. This Barbados tree has underneath it, I created a little haven for the woodland creatures. I don't really mind snakes as long as they're not poisonous. I've seen mostly pine snakes and racer snakes, which are beneficial. So I leave them alone when I see them. And I don't mind them. I know other people think that's crazy. But I've got calendula down here. I've got the Cuban oregano. I figured it out. Some more calendula. I got some broccoli plants that I planted back here. Broccoli. And we have our new additions back here, which are a flowering plant that I found and I was looking for months. I saw it all over my neighbor's yards and thought, I have to have her. And I found 3 of them, and I found them on sale, and they were about $3.80 each when the stores are charging so much money for a large tree. So I was pretty excited about that. The name of this plant, which throws a beautiful wispy flower from the top, is pagoda bush, and I've got 3 of them here. So we got pagoda bush there. I'm hoping they get about 4 or 5 feet tall, and they throw off these wires or fountain of a pinkish, orangish flower that I love. Some daffodils. All right, here we go. We've got a tree stump that I fell over probably about 4 times trying to carry and place back here. We got another broccoli plant in here. And in here, we've got a juga that I got 3 seasons ago that is loving this shaded spot. We got society garlic in here. And we got a strawberry guava and a pink guava. Firebush plant right here behind the pink guava and the strawberry guava. Okay, let's come around as we continue. Can you appreciate this space? Or does it all look like a jungle to you, like it does to my kids and my husband?